This is a 4x4 air seals video on how to fit our air dryer filtration kit in an Amk compressor. Now this is a typical Amk compressor. It's fitted on many vehicles now. They're replacing the old Hitachi pump on the Land Rovers and putting these Amk units on. They're all basically the same. Some of them might have different pipework, different electrical connections, but the actual details regard the cylinder, the air dryer, the exhaust valve, they're all the same basically. On an L322 Range Rover, it's located in the spur wheel well in the boot, but yet the compressor is exactly the same. It's got the air dryer chamber, the exhaust valve and the electrical exhaust valve solenoid, same position, exactly in the same position as on the Land Rover Discovery Range Rover Sport unit. So the first thing we need to do, obviously you should have received your kit in the post, and basically it should comprise of air dryer filtration media, 2 filters, cylinder to chamber large o-ring and chamber small o-ring if applicable. Also exhaust valve solenoid o-rings and exhaust valve o-rings. So the first thing we need to do is to remove the air dryer chamber using a T30 Torx bit. So you undo these 2 screws like so. Now as you start to undo these 2 screws, there is a spring between the cylinder and the air dryer chamber which is pushing the chamber away from the cylinder. So just be aware of that when you remove the 2 bolts. Once you've undone the 2 bolts, you just be aware that there's a spring and the 2 bolts like so. So the spring, the air dryer chamber and the 2 bolts come out like so, and basically you see a filter. So the first thing you need to do is remove the large o-ring, what's between the cylinder and the chamber, using a scriber. Just basically, that's the old o-ring. Now what you can do is you can get some wire wool and you can actually clean around the outside where the new o-ring is going to locate. Once you've cleaned that with the wire wool, you then get some silicone grease or light grease and you can coat the new o-ring like so and position that around the plate. You don't have to remove this plate because there's a little non-return valve. If you do, just be aware of that. There's a spring and a non-return valve if you want to actually pry out the metal plate, but for this demonstration, this is just on the filtration side. You can fit the new o-ring like so. The next thing to do is you need to get a container to catch all the old media out of the air dryer chamber itself. So you need a scriber. So the first thing you do is pry out this plate, which is it's just located by a couple of clips. It can be a little bit on the tight side, like so. So you just basically ply out the plate and you can see there's a filter directly underneath it. So you can remove the old filter and keep the plate, put that one side, and then you can see the granules. So basically you get your container and you tip out the granules. And then, as you can see, in the bottom there is another filter which you need to pry out, and there's another plate. You don't really need to remove this plate, but just for demonstration you can do. Sometimes the inside comes out altogether. Just beware that there's it locates in the bottom, there's an o-ring. Sometimes the o-ring comes out with the chamber and sometimes it stays inside, but basically that just pushes back in. You then get your wire wool, clean out all the inside of the chamber. If you have an air line, that's handy. You can just blow out the chamber like so. The first thing you need to do now is place the metal filter plate in the bottom, making sure it's it's sitting flat. Then you get one of your new filters. Place that in the bottom on top of the filter plate, like so, making sure it's located correctly. And then the next step is to put your new granules into the chamber. Now these granules are slightly larger in diameter. It allows better flow of air through the chamber. So basically you just carefully tip the granules into the chamber. Until it gets about 5mm off the top of the blue canister inside. So you can just basically level them and just put a little bit more filtration in, like so. Make sure you don't fill it up to the very top of the blue canister, because you've got a filter plate and a filter to go in there. So you get your remaining new filter and you place it on top of the granules, and then you get the filter plate, which is the last thing to fit back in, and basically that just locates like so. Once you have fitted the filtration, just as a note, there's an O-ring that's supplied in the kit. On some Amk compressors, the chamber has a boss that comes off this area here, and it actually fits on a boss, and then the boss locates in this hole in here. Now this O-ring seals on compression and not on diameter, but some Amks don't have the boss, but the counterbore is in there, but the boss is not on the chamber. So if yours has not got the boss on, then just disregard this O-ring. This particular compressor doesn't have the boss. So the next thing to do is to refit the air dryer chamber back onto the cylinder. Now you've got the spring has to locate on top like so, and you basically fit it in reverse order. So you get your two 6mm T30 Torx bits, Torx bolts, and you just tighten up in reverse order. Just sort of tighten them up evenly if you can. And that is the air dryer filtration fitted into the air dryer chamber itself. The next couple of videos will illustrate how to fit the seals onto the exhaust valve and the seals onto the electrical solenoid. So please check out the next two videos, and I'll catch up with you then.